Welcome to the JP8 Report. This is James Pierce with the JP8 Report, episode 253. Good afternoon, everyone. Working through logistics here. I think I got it. My screens are like flickering on me just a minute ago, and I'm in a fighting mood today, so I wore one of my boonie hats. Forgive me if you don't like it or not, but I'm in a fighting mood. All right, so it's been a long night. First off, I would like to apologize for yesterday. I am so glad I record my podcasts as I'm doing these, because yesterday, 42 minutes into my podcast, I realized I didn't click start stream on my Rumble Studio, and nothing went out. So I'm glad I recorded it, because right after that, if you noticed, I deleted it and then I reposted it at 1:20 as what they call a live premiere, where you can post a video and still have the live chat, and it makes it look like it's real. But I was there the whole time, so if y'all are going to sacrifice to watch it again, I was going to do the same sacrifice and interact with anyone if they did a live chat with me. So I got that and made sure that I see someone's already watching, so I know that that I'm live streamed right now, which is good. So welcome to the JP8 report. If you notice, I've made the change from 6 a.m. to 12 p.m. and I'm going to try to stick to that schedule. Monday maybe a little bit later because I have a VA appointment at 11 o'clock, but I'll cross that bridge. And that's the Marine's birthday too. So got to say happy birthday to my fellow service. I'm retired Army. So if you're this first time you're watching the JP8 report, regardless if it's live or on video on demand, click that follow button if it's the first time you watched it, and then give us a thumbs up, please, and then share and repost. That's the only way we get the algorithms going, getting people to watch it. I'm live on Rumble, and I simulcast through Facebook and through X, and then I'm trying to, and I have to individually post on YouTube right now because I don't have 50 subscribers. So I'm not saying you got to listen to us on YouTube, but I want to be able to simulcast through it, try to reach more people. So if you go to the JP8 Report 67, that's my YouTube page. Just go in and click subscribe. Give me up to 50 so I can continue to process and reach people. But this is my waypoint. I only do Rumble. All right. So thank you all very much for tuning in. America 250 moment, November 5th, 1775. Okay, I thought someone was at my front door. Nope. Okay, 1775, November 5th. General Richard Montgomery, Brigadier General Montgomery, left Fort St. John because the American forces just won at Fort St. John. And they departed the day to go toward Montreal to attack, and it's to draw British forces away from the American colonies. All right, so that's what happened today, and also California GOP sues Newsom over Proposition 50. There goes the lawsuits. All right, good. That's part of my stuff for the day. Wow. All right. So my next thing for November 5th, 1775 is a letter from Abigail Adams to John Adams. All right. She writes, I have been prevented writing you for more than a week past by a willow upon my forefinger of my right hand. 'Tis now so tender that I can manage a pen but poorly. I hope you have received several letters from me in this fortnight past. I wrote by Mr. Lynch and by Mr. Franklin, the latter of whom I had the pleasure of dining with and admiring you, whose character from my infancy I had been taught to venerate. I found him social but not talkative, and when he spoke something useful dropped from his tongue. He was grave yet pleasant and affable. I know I make some pretensions about physiognomy, and I thought I could read into his countenance the virtues of his heart, among which patriotism shined in its full luster, and with that is blended every virtue of a Christian, for a true patriot must be a religious man. I have been led to think that from a late defection that he who neglects his duty to his Maker may well be expected to be deficient and insincere in his duty toward the public. Even suppose him to possess a large share of what is called honor and public spirit, yet do not these men, by their bad example, by loose and immoral conduct, corrupt the minds of the youth and vitiate the morals of the age, and thus injure the public more than they can compensate by intrepidity, generosity, and honor. Let revenge or ambition, pride, lust, or profit tempt these men to a base of vile action. You may as well hope to bind up a hungry tiger with a cobweb as to hold such debauched patriots in the visionary chains of decency, or to charm them with the intellectual beauty of truth and reason. But where I am running, I mean to thank you for all the obliging favors lately received, and though some of them are very laconic, yet were they to contain only 2 lines to tell me that you were well, they would be acceptable to me. I think, however, you are more apprehensive than you need to be. The gentleman to whose care they have always been directed has been very kind in his conveyances and very careful. I hope, however, that it will not be long before we shall have nearer interviews. You must tell me that you will return next month, a late appointment to make it inconvenient, provided you accept, for you to go again to Congress. A little flock, in receiving Papa's letters, have been more gratified than they could have been by any other present. They are very proud of being thus noticed. I am much obliged by the sermons lately received, the dedication of Dr. Zublas, in both spirited and zealous. I was greatly pleased with it, but suppose it will bring the casting of pearl before swine. It seems humane nature. It is in the same of all ages and countries. Ambition and avarice reign everywhere, and where they predominate, there will be bickerings after places of honor and profit. There is no adage, kissing goes by favor, that is daily verified. I enclose to you the paper you sent for. Your business in collecting facts will be very difficult, and the sufferings of this people cannot be circumcised with pen, ink, and paper. Besides, the ministers of Satan are rendering it every day more and more difficult by the ravages and devastation to tell a tale which will freeze the young blood of succeeding generations, as well as harrow up the souls of the present. Nothing new has transpired since I wrote you last. I have not heard of one person's escaping out of town, nor the more maneuver of any kind. Master John is very anxious to write, but has been confined for several days with a severe cold, which has given him sore eyes. But he begs me to make his excuse, to say that he has wrote twice before, but it did not please him well enough to send it. Nabby has been with her Aunt Betsy ever since her grandma's death. Charlie and Tommy begged Mama to thank Papa for their letters and wish that he could write to tell him so. Brother and Sister Cranch send their love. Mrs. Cranch's disorder left her soon. The sickness has greatly abated all around us. Your mother speaks pathetically of you, and always sends her love to you. And I will only ask you to measure by your own the affectionate regard, your nearest friend. And that was from Abigail Adams to John Adams. All right. So that was November 5th, 1775. So next we have the Dalmatian Burger Group. They're homemade smash burgers and dogs in Coppers Cove, Texas. All their ingredients are homemade. They're open. They're open from 11 to 2 and 5:30 to 7, Tuesday through Saturday, and they're located at Town Square behind Bushes on the west side of Coppers Cove. All right, and I like the armadillo burger. That's my favorite. All right, so that is the Dalmatians. Now onward to what we were talking about with what happened last night, and pretty much everything's dealing with what happened across the country, because there was off-year elections from the East Coast to the West Coast, right? And I can tell you right now, we'll go over the stats. Right now, in New York City was a Democrat hold. Mamdani won with 50.39% of the vote, and Curtis Sliwa had 7.11%, and Andrew Cuomo had 41.59%. 81% of the women ages 30 years old and younger voted for Mamdani. Okay, in Virginia, Abigail Spanberger won with 57.51% against Winsome Earl Sears with 42.29%. All right, that's about 15%. And then Jay Jones, the guy that did the text messages threatening the former Speaker of the House of Delegates, he beat Mr. Mayorkas 53.09 to 46.51. How in the world did that guy even win? That is ridiculous. New Jersey, Mickey Sherrill beat Jack Citarelli 56.2 to 43.21. And in Minnesota, Fry, the Democrat, he won the initial round. They used ranked choice voting, which is unconstitutional. I don't know why anyone uses it, but Fry finished 41.76%, and Fatah finished at 31.72. Now, that means these two plus one more advance to the next round two, but it looks like Fry might have enough support to they'll only go to the second round, and he'll have over 50% of the vote and win. So Fatah is another one of those communist candidates, but he lost. Swore allegiance to Somalia. And in Seattle, Harrell defeated Wilson, and Wilson was another socialist candidate. He had 53.3, and Miss Wilson had 46.2%. So there was another victory. They're both Democrats, but at least the most socialistic one of them didn't win. And then California, Prop 50, I was just talking about that. Prop 50 passed on an all mail-in ballot special election, 63.82 to 46.18. There were 4.4 million votes cast for the 63.82%. And as I just told you, it just crossed the wire that they were talking about it, that it was on the New York Post. But they just filed a lawsuit against the state of California against that. It ain't over with yet. It ain't over with. I'm wondering what those cats are doing. So next is, let's see, in Texas, all 17 constitutional amendments passed. There was a 7.81% turnout in Texas. There was 1,443,000 votes cast in the state of Texas. Coryell County, we had an 8.89% turnout, abysmal. There was only 3,986 votes cast in Coryell County. 2,800 was in the Copperas Cove ISD election. So that would mean we have about 49,000 registered voters in Coryell County, and we can only rustle up 3,900 voters. Samantha Wilson won her election to the school board. She defeated Leah Elmore in a very gentle woman, because they're both women, election. They were both really good candidates. And then Prop A and Prop B passed in the bond election for a Copperas Cove Independent School District. Proposition B only passed by 30 votes out of 3,000 cast. About 3,000 cast. There was only 30 vote differential. If you look at the actual data for the school board, the undervote, that's people that vote elsewhere in the ballot but do not vote in that election. There was approximately 660 undervotes on all the school board elections, except for the bond. It looked like people went in and voted for the bond but didn't vote for the school board. I don't understand that, because you got to have the trustees to do it. But that is how the races I was following. That is, there was one more race. It was in Cincinnati. The vice president's half brother was running for mayor. He did not win, but it was the first time in 12 years that a Republican candidate made it first or second place on the ballot for the mayor of Cincinnati. So that says a lot, right? Don't forget, if you are in the state of Texas and you're registering for the ballot, filing season opens this coming Saturday. And here in Coryell County, we're going to meet in Copperas Cove at 9 a.m. to noon at Little Tex to start the filing process. Whoever wants to file for countywide office in the Republican primary. And then at noon, we're going to leave and go to Gatesville to the place called the Feed Mill. It's in downtown. And we're going to be there from 1 to 4. And then we're going to do the same thing up there for anyone that doesn't want to drive all the way down to Copperas Cove to file for office. They can do the same thing in Gatesville. All right? And Norm Mitchell is the Coryell County Republican Party chair. So you'll be seeing him. Like he said, make sure your application for the ballot is notarized, and you got I think, a money order or cash or whatever that make your filing fee or your petition numbers, petition signatures. All right, so far that is some of the data that has come out for the election. We do know that from exit polling and exit votes that if you're a white female and highly educated by vast majority numbers, upwards to, like they said in New York City, 70 to 80% of the Democrat vote was single white, highly educated women, right? And like I mentioned that to my spouse earlier, I think it was to my wife, I was telling her about it, but it was look at the demographics of people going to college these days and graduating. And you look at them, I think I told that to Rachel. I don't see her on here. But so look at the demographics of who goes to college these days. And the vast majority of the student population in universities and colleges are women. A lot of the guys either like join the military, get a trades job, already have a job, and women go to college and get highly educated. Nothing wrong with that. But the professors and instructors that are teaching these young people in our colleges, a lot of them have very socialistic agendas in their teaching philosophy. It may not come straight out, but you're sitting there with them for 15 weeks a semester, and you're going to absorb what that professor is telling you. So maybe we need to look in. Well, we already started here in Texas. In Texas, you can't have tenure at a university anymore, at a public university. So we're starting that process here, right? So that's one of the things. And then the next is talked about ranked choice voting. California, it was completely they mailed a ballot to everybody that was registered to vote. So we don't know how much of that vote was legitimate. They may have a good scoring system there, but they may not. And that's something that really needs to be looked into. I don't know what the basis of that lawsuit that's going to be going on, but they'll get to the bottom of it. All right. And let's see. And don't forget to support your local Republican Party. Those cats are killing me. Next is, before we go into the rest of it, okay, the president had a closed-door GOP meeting today down in Mar-a-Lago, down in South Florida. Now I'm being distracted by these guys back there. It's going to be closed doors, so, good to be a fly on the wall of that conversation, because I do not want to be the receiving end of it. You have too many Republicans. I can move this up. You have too many Republicans fighting amongst each other. We're seeing races for the people just starting to race for the primary in Texas. Multiple candidates are endorsed and backed by Trump. I don't understand that. Man, those cats. Like someone said on one of the podcasts I was listening to earlier, it's not what's on your ad, it's what's here. It's your belief, right? And the only way you're going to get those beliefs out is not by cutting an ad and putting a stamp on there. You're getting out there and actually talking to the voters about what's going on with them and relate to them, and then show them that conservatism is the way to go. And that's how you flip votes and stuff. They like in California, they may gerrymander a congressional seat to try to get the Republicans out. But I know it's a fight, and you got to be willing to take up that fight if you want to serve. Is get in there, shake hands, knock on doors, and let them people know that you're there for them and that you relate to them. I'll give you a point right here. We have a county commissioner. I'm in precinct 1 of our county commissioners, right? Our county commissioner, his name is Kyle Matthews. When he ran for office, I believe in 2016, he is the only candidate that knocked on my door to introduce himself. And I voted for him. My family voted for him. He's still our county commissioner. And that's how you do it. That is how you do it. Another thing is, you got to stop running against Trump policies. We got too many people out there that want to be traditional Republicans. You got to understand that the traditional Republicans is not going to win elections. When people look at traditional Republicans, they think about rich, uppity type people that like to look at you like this because you're better than them. There are a lot of us Republicans nowadays that associate and relate to President Trump, even though he's an ultra billionaire. We're not. We're regular people. But you got to be willing to relate like what he is coming about, to be more receptive to the voters out there. And stop stabbing him in the back. We got people like Marjorie Taylor Greene. She's always doing junk. Now she totally changed. She used to be a really dependable conservative, but I don't know what's wrong with her. Then you have Candace Owens doing her junk. I will never vote again until I find out who killed Charlie Kirk. Well, you know who killed Charlie Kirk? A stupid liberal that took a shot at him and killed him. That's who did it. Under the madness of all these leftists out here, they're getting people to take shots at people. That's who did that. Quit being a conspiracy person and look reality in the eye and just get on with your life. I'm not going to vote again. You're not even part of it. Were you even there? No, you weren't. So just let it go. Let it go. But we really need to get behind Trump and stay behind him and support him and follow his lead. I know he's already looking for who's going to take his place in 2029. Hopefully it's J.D. Vance right now, because that's who it looks like. He's very competent vice president. Look at Sears in Virginia. Everyone expected her to win, but the president wouldn't even endorse her because her and Glenn Youngkin were part of a process in Virginia back in 2020 and 2021. They dissed him severely, and he used her to go up against Trump, and I guess Trump didn't forget. And then the people that were around her didn't forget either, because those Republicans didn't even get out to vote for her. So, people have long memories. There's a long one too. Some other stuff that happened. Stop the infighting. Women are overwhelming to vote for Democrats and leftists. I just talked about that. We got to change the mind of females and get them to vote Republican. That's the only way we're going to do it. We got to change the flow of women voting for Democrats. You got to fight the Democrats at every corner. Look, I'm not a campaign advisor, a campaign manager, right? I'm not a consultant. I do this stuff. I don't make no money doing this. I get my Army retirement. That's all I get. Hold on just a second. I got to take this booty hat off. I'll put my hat back on. All right. I'm starting to sweat big time. Where was that? Oh, yeah, you got to fight them at every single corner. Don't give up. Though there are a lot of Democrats out there, they keep it up. When I went and voted yesterday, we actually voted in a we voted in an at Holy Family, right? And I swear, over half of the election workers were known Democrats. What they do is they get out in the populace, become friends with everyone, and when it's time for them to run for an office, hey, Jody, you know how I took care of you when you were out there voting and stuff? And I know because we talk, and I know what you're going through. How about voting for me? That's how they do it. Republicans got to do the same thing. Uh, you need to find a good Republican club or conservative club to join and start learning. Like here in Coryell County, we have Coryell County Republican Women. We have the Coppers Cove Conservative Club. We have the Coryell County Republican Party, the main anchor of our county here, right? You got to get involved. It can't be the same 10 or 15 people all the time. You got to get out there and make a difference. You got to be willing to bring in Republican speakers. You got to put forth the efforts, like with my 4Cs. We have next Thursday, we have State Senator Pete Flores coming to speak at our group. Our state senator. That's great. And hopefully we have about 25 or 30 people there to listen to him. All right? Because he has a big swath of the state that he has to cover, and he's going out of his way to visit us. But the same thing in Williamson County, Travis County, Barnett County, Lampasas County. You got to get out there and make yourself known, or people won't know you. And when you run for office, that's another thing. You can't, there's too many Republicans out there that think they can run for office and not spend any money. You know, if you're going to run a city council race, you got to be willing to spend at least $5,000, maybe $7,000 these days. And when you look at these campaign finance reports, and they say, "Well, I signed a 1080 agreement for the state of Texas," you're telling me you didn't raise or spend more than $1,000, and you're wondering why you lost? There might be a reason for that. You got to get out there and do that. All right. The media. Don't trust the media. Don't trust the media. You know what the media's main focus is? To make money. To get you to read their paper or watch their programs on TV and get money from their advertisers, right? And they will stab you in the back every chance they get. I mean, I'm not saying all of them, but like Fox. You know, we know how these Democrats are. We know. And you know, Fox tries to stay fair and balanced. That used to be their motto, right? But why would you put someone on the air that you know you can't trust? You're going to get influential people on there, lie through their teeth, and then all you're going to do is build distrust among the conservatives that sometimes watches your network, right? So be careful who you talk to in the media. But the media don't care. They don't care. Okay, so if you look at the media, we have Trump in office. How do you drive up your numbers? You get the opposition to come on. Instead of helping and being there for the person in office and relaying the information that he has, I'm not saying give them a carte blanche to say whatever they want, but you know, all of a sudden you flood your entire media with the opposition. Or like if someone speaks out against the Republican Party, all of a sudden they're a star. Why? That's why I said, watch who you trust. Don't trust the media. They'll do you wrong. Well, I'm talking They could be the legacy media people out there. I'm talking about Fox. I'm talking about Newsmax. I'm talking about AAON, One American News, AONN. I'm sorry. All of them. Watch what you're doing around them because they don't care. All they care is about making those advertising dollars, right? They don't care who they don't care who they take out. Next, the closed primary, closed the Texas primary, closed the Democrat primary, and closed the Republican primary. Jane Nelson, she is fighting tooth and nail to keep our primary from being closed. I do not know why she's doing it, but Ken Paxton agrees with it. Abraham George, our state party chair, he wants this closed. I want it closed. I'm tired of seeing known Democrats voting in the Republican primary to get a weaker candidate to win the election. Okay? That's stupid. That's stupid. I don't know why, but maybe she needs to resign and go away. That might be the better of the circumstances for her, is just to get out of here. So on non-political news, well, not non-election news. One other thing. My only advice to the president, okay, and I know I'm just James. Stop deploying the National Guard to cities. The cities don't want it. D.C. doesn't want it. Chicago doesn't want it. L.A. doesn't want it. Let them burn. Not figuratively. Let crime not be dealt with by the, and I know how y'all feel, right? But it's the responsibility of those cities to defend their citizens. And guess what? They're still voting Democrat. They're still voting Democrat and complaining that we're sending in the National Guard to help them. So what I'm saying is, let them fight crime on their own. Who cares? My daughter said something on the chat about BBC. Something about BBC took some footage from January 6th speech out of from President Trump when back in 2021, and they edited like 54 seconds. I think she said 54 minutes, but I think it was more like 54 seconds out of the speech, and totally changed the whole concept of the speech. And it looks like they may be losing their license to be able to broadcast in Great Britain. I think that's what she was telling me this morning. Maybe that's what needs to happen with some of these papers and stuff. Eliminate their licenses. Right? Papers go out of business all the time. But yeah, these cities, let the cities defend their own citizens. And when, like Dan Bongino used to say all the time, is it bad enough yet? Is it bad enough yet? So when it gets bad enough, right? When it gets bad enough, you will change. And you will change your vote. Like a lot of this stuff in the election, people were talking about it was all economics. You know what? Trump didn't make everything expensive. The Democrats, for 4 years, with surging inflation for 3 years of it, where prices in about 5 or 6 months of it was 9% increase in the price of stuff for inflation. They're the ones that did it. But until it gets bad enough, you're still going to be voting Democrat. You will. Eventually, one day, you're like, you know what? I want my family to grow up in an environment where they're safe and successful. And the Democrats aren't doing it for you. They are not. There is a major case going in. Okay, yeah. They're talking about Trump's about to speak at a business forum down in Miami also. But the Supreme Court today is supposed to have hearings, and Scott Bessent is going to be there about the tariff policy from the president to see if it's legal for him to do. It is legal, but they still got to hear it, and then they got to rule on it. Hopefully, they rule in the favor of the president. If not, our country is in a pickle because we don't have any money, right? And then this is day 36 of the Schumer shutdown. We're 1 week away of my son-in-law not getting paid because he's an active duty NCO in the Army. They had another cloture vote yesterday that it failed 49 to 42, which if you're looking at it, 49 to 42 does not equal 100. It equals 91. So 9 United States senators weren't at their desk doing their job, right? And remember, there's 47 Democrats and 53 Republicans, right? So I'd say don't pay them. If they can't do their job in D.C., don't pay them. They could be unemployed and go to Disney World for all I care. One other thing I wanted to talk about was it deals with the media about not trusting them. Do you know one way the media works to drive up their numbers? And all it does is drive up my blood pressure. So what they do is, hold on just a second. How do y'all like looking at polls every single day? There's a poll for this, and a poll for that, and a poll for that thing, and a poll for this thing. And their numbers are they may poll, you may have an Emerson poll and a Gallup poll, and you have a Fox News poll, and you have a Trafalgar poll, which is one of the most accurate. But they're polling the same type group of people, the same numbers and stuff, and they get different results. How's that even possible? And then, but like this last election, okay, we'll put it like this. In New Jersey, they had Jack Cicerelli. He was behind Cheryl, right? Mickey Sherrill, from at 52 to 45%, 7% differential, right? And there were several groups that were saying that was the spread. Well, what did she? She won 56.2 to 43.21. They were off, way off. And the same thing down in Virginia. There were some polls saying they were almost neck and neck. The same thing in New Jersey, right? They were saying in New York, if there were polls saying that if Sliwa dropped out, that Andrew Cuomo could beat Mandami. Well, no, that didn't happen. And then last night, while they were counting ballots, some knucklehead on TV said, you know what? If they could just keep Sliwa in single digits, Cuomo can win. Well, if you look at the final vote, Mandami won with the mandate, 50.39%. There's no way Cuomo could have won. What I'm saying is these pollsters are doing these polls to drive us nuts and keep us all guessing, right? This is my suggestion. When early vote starts in your state, the polls stop. Effectually, I would say 30 days prior to Election Day, no more polls published. Let the politicians do their job at campaigning, right? Because what they do on some of these polls is voter suppression. Oh man, Jack is going to get crushed. Why? Why would I go vote for him? Because he's going to get beat by 18 points. In which reality, it could be neck and neck, right? And there's like, well, I'm not even going to go vote. It's not worth it. And then you're costing them 10, 20,000 votes because nobody wants to go out and vote because they're disenfranchised of going to vote. Or you put a poll up showing, let's say James Pierce, we'll just use me. I'm running for Congress, right? Since I'm in District 31, Congressional District 31, and someone does a poll and said, James is up. He's got 58% of the vote. Then you get a bunch of Republicans says, I don't need to go vote. He's got a lock in, right? But it was an inferior poll, one of those, what kind of poll is that? An outlier, yeah. And I ended up getting 48% of the vote and lose because people were like, well, James is going to get 58% of the vote. I don't even need to go vote. He got it locked in and it ends up losing. So you get polls like that out. It's disenfranchisement. That's all it is. So, yeah, my particular, we got time on there. What do you think? What do you think? Early vote starts. Early vote starts. You stop the polls, or 30 days out, you stop the polls, or like in presidential years, stop it at Labor Day. Give it 2 solid months of no polls out there and make those candidates go out and do their job. I mean, they can do internal polling, but just don't publicize them. Make it fair. Give y'all a second here. I'm going to check out my data. Hold on just a second. I'm not going nowhere. Let's see. I don't have enough yet. Okay. I was going to do an ad read, but I can't do it because I don't have enough live streamers on right now. I get the most of my viewers on video on demand. Okay, let me go back. There we go. All right. So, with that being said, I've been on for 47 minutes. Thank y'all, everyone that's tuning in. If you're just now tuning in, go back and watch this thing, right? Click that follow button. If this is your first time, click that follow button. Don't click the unfollow. Click the follow button. Click that thumbs up button. And please share this out, right? And like I said also, if you go over to YouTube and go to the JP8 report 67 and just subscribe to it so we can get live streaming on there too. So if you want to find me on my socials, I'm on X at James Pierce Jr. I'm on Facebook at James A. Pierce Jr. And I'm on JP8 report at gmail.com. That's how you can email me. All right. And if y'all are watching me on Facebook or on X right now, thank you very much. Come on over. The water is warm. All right. And we're in the shallow side. All right. So come on over to the Rumble. Right. So with that being said, let's sign off until tomorrow. So this is James Pierce with the JPA report. I'll catch you on the flip side. I'm out.